everybody. Welcome to another episode of OK Boomer, the podcast where we look at books from the golden, silver, and bronze age, and maybe a little bit beyond, but not much. And please subscribe, comment, and share. And now, on with our regularly scheduled program. This is Will.
This is Thomas.
We're back at the virtual spinner rack this week, looking at one of Thomas's, again, favorite artists in the Marvel universe, Sir Barry Windsor Smith, who is fantastic.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, well, please. There were two reasons I wanted a two issues of the original Conan run. One was because it was Barry Windsor Smith. And two, because it was the first appearance of Elric in comics. I still want those issues one day because I have every other Elric series in comics that has been released. So
yeah, you had all the Pete Craig Russell ones from Pacific.
In a trade, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is how I have those other two, Conan issues. Was it 14 and 15?
It's 14 and 15 or 15, 16. So yes, this one around there.
Something like that.
Yeah. They're great series. Dude, I freaking love it. But yeah, so yeah, we were talking about it earlier. Daredevil 236, man. This is by random a 25th anniversary Marvel book. It's kind of funny. This is 25th, and now it's what? It's like 50th anniversary they just had, or 60th? 60th, wasn't it? When did the 60th we had a while back? Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
I'm not sure. Just in case.
Yeah, it was 60th anniversary. Yep, August 3rd, 221. So, yep, 60th anniversary for Marvel. Just happened. Jesus, dude, it's just funny because I remember seeing these when they come out. God almighty, damn, we're old. But, yeah. And the thing is, they have these cool covers. Now they're doing, retro covers with these on them now?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they're as cool as the originals. There is a new one that is coming out. I'm thinking about getting though. That is the new FF. That's the 60th anniversary. It's got that cool cover that mimics the Fantastic Four Annual #3.
Is it still written by Dan Slott?
Yeah, actually, the last 3 or 4 issues I read were pretty good. Before that, they were really getting on my nerves with all the extra characters. But the Bride of Doom was a good storyline. I liked it.
I will not read anything from that man, baby.
Oh, Lord. This is by Ann Nocini.
Yes.
And what was funny is we were talking about this in the pre-show. This dude wraps up freaking Frank Miller Born Again. Kind of afterwards, gives a little overview of it, and takes place not too long after that series gets out, which I know we have never touched on any, and that's one of the things we said we were going to try and stay away from the big storylines. But dude, I know you've read Frank Miller Born Again. That is an awesome story.
Yeah, the end of the last Daredevil season when he woke up in the bed with the nun, and I was like, holy shit, it's Born Again.
Yeah. Yep, there it is. It's Mom. Yeah, Mom who didn't really give him up for adoption but left Dad for the nunnery afterwards. Or the convent, whatever you want to call it. Now I will say something we don't talk about it much, because you got Frank Miller Born Again, and then you can always compare the two, because you got Born Again in Marvel, and then you got Batman Year One, which both of them came around about the same time.
Yeah.
And both of them are super, just very important to the characters. And I have not read Year One or Born Again in quite some time. But dude, that would be something we one day could just gloss over, because they're so important. And it's almost tit for tat. You could say which one is a better story. Because I mean, Frank Miller changes, he changes Catwoman in the original year one, all that, and then Daredevil is just beaten down in freaking Born Again. But
well, in Batman Year One, everything's redefined. It was, I think that was for Batman. That was right on par. That was a Batman treatment to go along with the Man of Steel series.
Oh yeah, by Byrne.
Yeah,
they
the redefining. Yeah,
and they tried to
of course, Daredevil is, of course, as we know, Marvel's punching bag. So
yeah, well, not only
but he's the, even though people goes, no, Moon Knight is Marvel's answer to Batman. I go, yeah. Batman is Batman, but Batman is not batshit crazy. He's very methodical. Moon Knight is out his goddamn mind.
Which one?
All of them. Daredevil is basically is Marvel's answer to Batman.
Yeah. Well, and that's what he became when Miller took over the series. Before that, he was more of a, and I read this somewhere before, and I cannot remember who said it, but they said that Daredevil was originally the poor man's Spider-Man. Because, the books were always a little cheaper. They were a little easier to find. Back in the day, the stories weren't that dark until Miller came around. Actually, probably a little bit before Miller, they started getting creeping that way.
Yeah, with
and
the
Daredevil
and
used to have they had all the the lightheartedness and everything else. And but they went that way, and like I said, with Born Again, to just kind of Miller reset the character and reestablished him, and it just, dude, it's freaking incredible. But
and then Miller left, and Marvel ruined the character.
I don't know. See, the reason that this issue come up, not only because it had Barry Windsor Smith in it, I was reading an article somewhere. I think I shared it on my timeline. I don't know if you ever looked at it. I'll go back and find it and send it to you. And it was, it may have been a CBR article. I can't remember. But they were saying, they were talking about the top 10 or top 6 runs of characters that often get overlooked. And they said the Ann Nocini run on Daredevil was really good. And then they were going through some of the artists that were on it. And they said Barry Windsor Smith, and then Jansen, Jansen, and then you had Ramita Jr. Was in it. And I was like, really? I didn't remember Smith in this run. So I go and look, and this is like the first Nocini, the first issue of her run. What's funny is I didn't remember this series being that good, with Nocini in it, and then thinking about it afterwards. So this is 236, but remember a while back we did that Punisher story. It's been a year ago maybe, which was like Daredevil 262, and that was a Nocini story. So I mean, there is a lot of stuff that holds up, and there's a couple issues after the Daredevil one I read where Typhoid Mary and Kingpin are trying to manipulate each other sexually. It's kind of weird. And then now, if you read the current book with the current run, Typhoid Mary and Kingpin are going to get married. It's really, I'm like, dude, yeah, this is not good.
I mean, I can see, Wilson using Typhoid Mary, for, an applicator for his preparation H or something, but that's about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the whole thing in the book. He's, he in the original Nocini run, he's like beating her up and everything else, and she's, just manipulating him by doing all kind of. They don't ever show their sexual favors, but they hint at it really hard. and I was like, this is pretty rough. Because I don't remember it. I mean, dude,
not as hard as Durango.
Yeah, damn it. But yeah, this is nobody got that bad. But in the I mean, dude, this is like '86. I was 13. So
the good old days.
Some of this just flew over my head.
I was buying this in back issues because I didn't find my first comic shop till I was like 15 and bunking high school on a regular basis.
Oh yeah, well, dude, I always bought them offline. But yeah, there it is. There's your cover.
And that's and I mean, it wasn't until I went to that store, like I didn't know like a lot of Marvel characters. I knew Captain America.
That's a damn shoe in.
But this is how I knew Captain America, because back in the 70s, Captain America was one of the higher produced. Him and Spider-Man were the two highest produced Marvel figures from Mego's World's Greatest Superheroes line.
Really?
So I had a Captain America, then of course the shield peeled off, but then the 70s we had those awful red brown Captain America TV movies. He goes, okay, I'm going silent running on the bike. It's like, it's not silent running. You just turn the sound off.
Turn the sound off.
You just shut the master switch on the sound off and just kept filming. It turned into a silent movie until he goes, okay, I'm going to surprise him now. And they turned the sound back on. But it was that god awful see-through plexiglass shield.
You know, is that the one with oh God, now I forgot. Salinger's kid that played Captain America?
It was Red Brown.
Okay, Red Brown. No, so Salinger's kid plays Captain America in one of them.
It might be the one in the 90s where he fought Red Skull, and Red Skull was going to blow up the world. I think that's the one. That one actually, it was still cheesy. But it was it was like, oh my God, this is so much better than the TV movies. We thought we hit pay dirt. It was like gold.
That's like when we watched the I don't remember. Do you remember the Trial of the Incredible Hulk and the Hulk versus Thor?
Oh, Control.
They're so terrible.
Oh, they are so terrible that they are good.
Yeah, and Daredevil wears the black suit. You know, it's like
it's like just put on the black suit and the black like Zorro mask.
That's it.
He was really good as Murdoch though.
Yeah, I'd have to watch it again. It's been
they had you know his stuntman leap around things were like, oh, he might have been one of the stunt doubles from the Spider-Man TV movies in the 70s. You know, movies that couldn't get released now, titled The Chinese Web.
Damn it, really?
Yeah, because he never fought any supervillains, but he was always fighting the Yakuza for some reason.
Damn it. It's terrible. I remember that crazy Spider-Man show. Oh, talk about crazy covers though, you know, and the Spider-Man movie. I love that Spider-Man photo cover. And I can't remember who it is that's posed as Spider-Man, but that's just a great.
With the mask and the gloves off, wearing the costume. Yeah,
yep, that is such a great damn cover, dude.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's a photograph of.
It was so overlooked, and people were like, "Oh, that's stupid." And like 5 years later, they're like, "Hey, can I get the photo cover on Vampirella?" And it went from photo cover to cosplay cover.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, why? I'm like,
I don't know.
I was like, what the fuck is cosplay? He goes, it's people dressing up in costume. Oh, so Halloween, but like whenever they want it.
Yeah, it's Halloween without Halloween.
And I know a lot of people that do this, and most of them, you know, I know one guy that he has people because he's no good at building stuff for the costume stuff, but he goes to people and has things like tweaked up and redone and customized for himself. But he buys, he'll buy the costume and dress in it. One of them he made a lot of stuff, which was like the original Nolan suit.
Yeah.
But it would take him like 40 minutes to get in it, and he would need somebody to help him in. And God forbid he had to take a leak. He's got a bat run to the bat room, and then he's got to have a couple people hurry up and help him out of it so he can bat whiz, and then
that's where he needs to go to the pharmacist and get him a colostomy bag or something.
Since then,
modify that.
Oh no! What are they called? Texas catheters. It's like it's like the tip of a condom that basically fastens a little past your helmet and stays on there. Hopefully, it doesn't cut off your circulation. And if you got to go, you just go, and it goes into the bag and stuff. But he's upgraded since then. He wore the old costume the other time, the other month, but he upgraded. He bought the Batfleck costume, and it's thin, and he's in good shape. He's a retired Marine. Thank you for your service matches. His cosplay name handle online is Matches Malone.
Oh, really?
So as soon as I saw his name scroll by, like when I first went on Facebook back in 2007, 2008, I go, Batman fan. I got to send him a friend request. And then another mutual friend I saw at the first Rhode Island Comic Con, and he's a big dude. He's like 7 feet tall. And, he's big burly guy. He was dressed as V. From
V?
V.
From V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
Dang. All right, so
anyhow, here we are.
Sorry, so there's the cover. Let's get past the cover.
Let's get past the cover.
Yes, we were talking about this too. This smacks of freaking like Weapon X or something.
Yeah, but like you said, this is so much earlier than Weapon X.
Yeah, it's like three or 4 years earlier than Weapon X. But so it opens and there's this doctor talking about the brain and how it affects the body, and of course you've got all this wonderful art by Barry Windsor Smith, and I think he's actually the only artist here. I think somebody else colored it, but I think he drew and inked.
He was also one of the inkers. There were 2 inkers. He was one of them.
Where's it at?
There it is.
Yeah, Barry Windsor Smith and Wallach inkers. Okay.
And Wyatt was a regular inker for Innocenti. On the Innocenti Daredevil run, yeah.
Okay. All right. So this guy is essentially, he's talking about, how your brain thinks, and, you have rational parts of your brain, and he's talking about cutting out those rational parts and removing them so that you can be a more effective killer and not have to worry about it. All those things like emotions and empathy, just get that out of the way.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah.
It's Steen!
Yeah, it's 16. And so he's going on, and we're like, okay, who is he talking to? And then it takes a minute. So here we go.
Frau Brucker. Oh, yeah. Wrong movie.
No, wrong. Yeah, exactly. He is talking to Natasha Romanoff. And she,
by the way, let me tell you, has never looked hotter in any issue of a Marvel comic than right here.
Tell us how you really feel. Don't hold anything back.
I'm going to need 5 minutes and a bottle of lube. I'll be right back with you.
Oh, God. Dang it. Make sure you cut the camera off.
It was quicker.
He's talking about, this just, you'll be a much, she's like, so this is some kind of psychic surgery. And he says, we're going to get down to the reptilian brain. It'll be a finer machine. So he's just talking about killing people. Mm-hmm. And she's, of course, there's issues there, with motion and the memory and all this. He's telling her all along, we can do this to you. And of course, we don't. This is another thing we were discussing. I cannot remember what Black Widow was doing at this time in the comics, because I think, like we were saying, I mean, thinking about it more, she may have been bouncing around. And then our good doctor here tells us that one of his experiments is kind of on the loose, an Agent Hazard. And he needs...
from Nuke to Hazard.
Yeah, from Nuke to Hazard. And he needs the Black Widow to go in and kind of incapacitate him, and if she can, bring him back. And we find out, he's had he's had a bunch of childhood trauma, that, they've able to bypass all that, bypass his guilt, and it's essentially turned him into the perfect killing machine.
Yeah. Served in the war, which I would have to think at this time would refer to Nam.
Yeah, they talk. He says it later on. It's Nam.
Yeah, which makes perfect sense, because back when this was going on, Marvel was also producing the Nam comic, which was a runaway hit.
Yeah, they were doing the Nam, and then Punisher was still so. I mean, we got out of the war in 73 or 74.
73, I think.
So yeah, 73, 74. So this is roughly, 9 to 10 years after Nam. And a lot of those soldiers come back, they come back in their, early to mid 20s, and they're in their, early to mid 30s at this time. So that's kind of, how the Punishers, that's about how old he was when he started. And you get all these characters, the disillusioned soldier.
And they're in that state of mind where they're already all fucked up from shipping over there, watching all their brothers in arms get murdered. They're getting captured and tortured, and the napalmed and Agent Orange, and then they come back and the whole country is against them. And I'm like,
yep. And it played as, I don't say it played as a good story. This is pretty political as it goes on. But so yeah, he wants her to bring him in. And they even talks, so here's our good doctor talking about Nuke, so Nuke, I guess Nuke was part of this facility at one time.
Yeah, so this guy is the same guy that tinkered around in Nuke's head, and my take on it was he thinks he can fix the problems of Nuke with Hazard.
Yeah, because Nuke is dead.
Nuke is dead, and he dies at the very end.
Born Again.
Of Born Again, and so he thinks he's discovered, the errors of his procedures, and he's got limitless lab rats from the army that he can just experiment on.
Yep. And I'm going to fix. I know what I did wrong with Nuke. If you bring Hazard back in, Natasha, we can fix it. And then we'll have the perfect killing machine.
Mm-hmm. And I got to point out on this issue that the colorist killed it.
Oh, man. The colors are incredibly bright. I mean, it just... Yeah.
The contrast, he did such a bang up job, and this is before we had such a leap ahead in printing procedures.
Oh, not only that, it's this is pre-Baxter paper. This is just freaking newsprint.
Yeah, this is newsprint, and it looks like this.
Yeah.
See, y'all could go back to newsprint and make the books like, $3 again, and we might actually come back and buy something once in a while.
Well, I mean, the thing too is, I mean, granted, you don't have all the gradations and everything, but you can still do so much with what you have. And this is a prime example of it. I mean, the colors are very saturated here. Even and I did not read the digital copy. I went and pulled out the actual hard copy and sat down and read it this morning. The colors are still very good in it. Now, I know the screen here is going to oversaturate them, but no, they're still hold up really well.
Oh, yeah. So good.
So that is the premise here. So somehow Natasha has gotten wrapped up with this psycho, and he's going to send her out to do his dirty work. So, she leaves, and then when she gets out there, there are a ton of soldiers here. And they're all, all these guys are being experimented on one way or another. And of course, they have other little things to do. And as soon as she comes out, they start, making fun of her. Like they're making fun of the Black Widow. It's like, look, it's the Rusky spy. She's a damn traitor. She calls herself the Black Widow. And they're making fun of her. She's a superhero. No, she just likes to sleep with superheroes. Like that Daredevil guy. And then so the doctors sent her out to get Hazard, and they're just making fun of him. And they even tell her, says she'll probably just fall in love with him. And finally, hey, if you want to join, this organization here and stay inside, you better kill him. And she just kind of slunks off. And what's funny is I don't know if the Black Widow today would take no shit like this. She could possibly kill these guys. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, she could kill these guys then, but
yeah, well, I mean, she could, but she doesn't. It's just she doesn't even say anything.
She's restraining herself and kind of like dirt off the shoulder, and everything's about mission parameter.
Yeah, I guess, because I said she doesn't even respond to him, and then she does. She says, "Keep your head up. Don't say anything. Don't let them get to you." Blah 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 blah, and they just make fun of her, and she just walks right on by. Of course, then it opens up. All right, I have no idea what the hell's going on in New York. Why is everybody throwing out all these firecrackers throughout this whole book?
4th of July.
So it was 4th of July. I missed that somehow. So they talk about the flag and everything. So they get here, and it opens up. Title of the story is actually American Dreamer. We done said the writer. So it's Ann Nacini, writer. Barry Smith penciler, Barry Smith and Wildlife on inkers, or Joe Rosen letterer, Max Shield is the colorist, Ralph Macchio editor, and Jim Troubleshooter editor in chief. So here the book opens, and here's our Agent Hazard, who is in a diner, reading the freaking paper, and
sweating bullets.
Sweating bullets, dude. He in the middle of the damn day. He ain't doing anything. He's sweating bullets, reading the paper, and he is reading the damn paper about the Battle of Hell's Kitchen. So he is actually going over what the hell happened during the Born Again storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And just happens to be his last name is Hazard as well.
Yeah.
So and this
the bartender is the head cheerleader that had the crush on him during high school, but couldn't tell him, and all the boys wanted her, but she wanted him, and she thinks he's blushing, but it's actually all due to Mr. Mad Scientist tinkering around inside his head.
Yeah, because he can't remember anything. He cannot remember anything. She's laying all this out, and he can't remember anything, and she thinks he's reading his newspaper clippings of his exploits in the war, because she knows he went off and joined the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
And, she loves a guy in uniform, the whole 9 yards. And he starts getting sick and then freaks out, and then he sees her outfit. She's got like a little
Wonder Woman top on. Go ahead, call it.
It's a Wonder Woman top.
It's a Wonder Woman top.
So she's got a damn Wonder Woman top on, and he freaks out. He's like, I can't believe you're wearing this. That T-shirt. He says, you're a damn slut. Why would you wear this? He calls her a slut in the book. Dude, they would bounce this crap out of the, today's publishers.
You can't slut shame anybody.
No, so he does, and she's like,
it's like, well, you have to. If she's a slut, she needs to be ashamed.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, at 13, this just didn't register like this. So she gets upset and starts getting sick, and this is the part here that I was starting to have issues with. So she's getting sick. You see the lady's getting sick, and you see the doctor who's coughing in the background. And she's like, I'm trying to help you. And I'm trying to realize, I don't know if the doctor is seeing what's going on or not, because it's not explained.
When you get a little further in, you realize that he is seeing the doctor everywhere.
So that's it.
Everybody is the doctor, because he goes outside and there's a guy out there with firecrackers, and he's like, come on, every day's the 4th of July in New York City. And he sees the doctor there too.
I got it. Okay, so he's just mistaken. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so yeah, he got
it's the psyop going on in his head.
He's flashing back and forth.
And he's just, all he can see, he doesn't see any of these people. He just sees the doctor. And he's trying to fight. He's basically fighting against the programming in his skull right now.
So that's it's kind of like before it, but you watched the new Suicide Squad?
No.
Damn it, dude. All right, so he goes out there, and now this was a little discerning for me, but so yeah, he's seeing the doctor then, I guess. You explain that for me. Who's got all of these firecrackers going off everywhere, and then all of a sudden, and this is kind of weird, Daredevil hears it. He's like, hey, what's that? And if you read this whole little thing here, I'm like, what are they talking about? So Daredevil's, he hears the firecrackers go out, because they go off when Hazard goes outside. And then Nicini gives this description of Daredevil. It's like high above the others, high away from the shuffling crowd, dwelling above the chimneys, the gargoyles, and the steeples. Every New York rooftop is his watchtower. The Lord of his realm keeps high, over the lost souls that are below him. The cursed, the irredeemable, his flock. He loves Hell's Kitchen and all. What in the hell is she doing? It's just kind of, I don't know. It just really stood out to me.
Yeah, it was just weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
But it was. This was like the one like really bad panel in the book. Because he's like, what's that? They go, oh, Matt Murdock's spider sense is going off.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
it's like there's fireworks going off all throughout the 5 boroughs. It's it's like, what's that? You go, oh, it's more fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So anyway, so the fireworks go off, and then the old guy falls down on the ground, and he's grabbing his heart. And he's like, something's wrong with my heart. And Daredevil hears all the commotion, the guy screaming, the fireworks, and the people around him are screaming because of Hazard and coming out of the restaurant and the guy passing out. And Daredevil makes a move to go and see what it is, and then here it is, here's some more of this, he loves Hell's Kitchen and all this. I would have to read a couple more issues after this to see if she keeps this kind of really, thing going on, because it's really weird. And that's what's funny is it just stands out so much to me. But now the artwork here is absolutely phenomenal, dude. The damn picture of Daredevil swinging is awesome. I mean, when he jumps, this one right here, I don't know why. This is such a damn cool pose. But yeah, so Daredevil
he's flipping upside down from but he's swinging through his like little grappling hook off the Billy Club. So
yeah, I mean, just the whole layout's really cool. So Daredevil swings down and he lands there, and of course there's a fire, and he's like, "Oh God, this guy had a heart attack. We need to call an ambulance, but it's pretty much too late. Guy's dead."
mm-hmm.
And he hears a heartbeat, coming up, towards him, and he recognizes it as someone he used to love. So it's Natasha, and he turns around and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And she informs him, straight off the bat, "Hey, I'm trailing for the man that killed this poor guy. He's on the loose." And he actually questions her. He said, "Well, why don't you tell me about it?" And she "Okay, well, let's go, and we'll go back to your place, Matt, and I'll tell you about the whole thing." So they head back to her house because she actually tells him too, she doesn't like to talk to Mask, which I thought that was kind of cool. So, because they know each other, he goes back, takes off the mask, and they start talking about him. And she tells him, this guy has escaped from a, military facility. I'm kind of trying to bring him in, then she questions about everything happens in Born Again, and, nothing's going on, but I really want to help you get this guy. And she actually, at the last panel there, gives him his mask, and they head out. And of course, when they head out, this is a little freaky little kid though. The art kind of, you can see his little nose, but it messes up. Heads back, and Hazard has gone back to his mother's house. She lives in Hell's Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, this is the old classic, I won't say, traditional New York grandma, New York mom. She's got crosses everywhere, goes to church, telling him about how to, be a good boy and all this. And she has to go out, and his nephew is there, little Tommy. And she's like, "Hey, can you watch Tommy while I go out?" And she introduces him, he'll be all right. And he's a good boy, he's a good patriot. He loves the flag. He likes to say pledge allegiance to it. And he'll say it all the time, even though he gets it wrong. He calls it, I lead the pigeons to the flag or whatever. Of course, they laugh a little bit there at the end. And now I get it now that you kind of brought it in, because I read it this morning at 4:30. Yeah, he's seeing the doctor everywhere, even little Tommy and his mom. Of course, as she talks to him, Hazard starts having issues again, and her little heart starts acting up, and he eventually hugs her and calms down. Of course, while he's doing all that, Tommy's looking at it. Daredevil and Black Widow head out looking for him in the city. Now, this is kind of where it starts to get a little weird for me. So, after Mom's gone, Tommy has always looked up to Hazard as a hero and wants to be just like him. So he's got him a little toy rifle and a helmet. Yeah, helmet that he's wearing. And Hazard tells him, he says, "You're a good kid. The United States of America and the Free Republic." He's telling him the whole Pledge of Allegiance. You always have to be a good soldier, and do what you can. And then he says, "You got to do something. You got to place me under house arrest." Hazard does not want to leave. He knows there's issues going on with him. There's something wrong with him. He's killing people. So he gives the kid a freaking machine gun. It's like, "Hold this on me. Don't let me leave."
See, I missed that part. Like, I saw the other gun, but I must have skipped over that part. It didn't register with me.
Yeah. See, with the doctor, I was asleep when I read it at 4:30 this morning. Yeah. Look, right there. Yeah. Hold on. Wrong blow up. Yeah. He says, "Look, Tommy, you got to place me under house arrest like a good American. Here, hug this." He gives him a freaking, it's like a
machine pistol.
It's a machine pistol or something. And he says it's heavy. He says, that's a monster you got in your head. Pull the trigger once and you're dead. Your whole life changes. It'll never be the same. Point it at me and don't let me out of your sight, and be ready to shoot. It's a real gun. And then this is where we find out what in the hell has happened to Hazard. Black Widow tells him he was part of a project called Heart Attack. They use biofeedback through hypnosis and electronics, and he can explode a man's heart at will. The problem is he doesn't have control of his mind anymore. That's why he killed the other guy accidentally. And then he's got the real gun, and he tells everybody, this is born to Star Spangled Union. You're under family. Just keep this gun on me. Don't let me leave. And as Daredevil and Natasha are getting close, because they've managed to track down kind of like where his mom's house is, they're running through the freaking wreckage from Born Again. And Natasha's like, damn, it's like, going through a war zone. And Daredevil says, yeah, this is all the crap that happened when Nuke was here. So they keep calling back to it. And she said, well, I thought they would have cleaned it up yet. Yeah, well, it's legal entanglements. Nobody wants to take responsibility and clean it up. So they're just leaving the wreckage.
Who was in charge of this project, Biden?
Damn it. So we get there at the next page. I never, Hazard tells the boy, he says, I never smoked pot, never did anything wrong. I was always a good soldier, did everything I was told to him, and he keeps looking at the damn fireworks outside, and it reminds him of everything that's going on, and he tells him, he says, I'm not really a soldier anymore, but something happens. He sees Daredevil, knows he's there, something, and he actually dismisses Tommy. He says, that's all right, you can go. And he has another pistol or something, so he gets. So when he dismisses Tommy, Hazard actually heads up to the roof, and Daredevil hears him coming up on him, and dude, he just like cold clocks freaking Black Widow. Of course, Daredevil, gets involved, and they start a big fight. And while he's fighting, of course, Daredevil tries to get Black Widow up after freaking Hazard knocked the hell out of her from behind. And in the fight, after Daredevil lays a few good whacks on him and knocks Hazard down, he starts freaking out and is going to cause Daredevil's heart to like explode. He's trying to do it intentionally here. But Daredevil's so strong, he's not going to die that way. And, he's foaming at the mouth. Black Widow has to freaking kick this guy in the head to even get his attention. But that's not working. He's still trying to kill Daredevil actively with the power from his the operation. Mm-hmm. Black Widow picks up a freaking like a metal pipe or something and cold cocks his ass.
Yeah, with a lead pipe. Yeah,
with a lead pipe. And here's where he sees himself choking the doctor, and in actuality, when you look down, he's choking Black Widow, who's managed to pick up his gun.
Both of them.
Yeah, and he's got the damn gun on him, and he's I'm here, superheroes can't save me, nobody can save me. I just want to go home. I want to live. I want a wife. And she's just got the gun pointing on him, and he keeps asking her, do you want to believe me? Everything. And he finally says, I have a wife, but I can't remember her. And she asks him, says, well, show me a picture of your wife since you have it. It's a freaking advertisement. And at that point, she realizes he's gone. His brain is mush. Of course, he's crying and everything else. And he picks up the damn gun, and, Daredevil's, don't kill him. But he doesn't give her any chance. He actually puts the gun on his head and pushes her fingers down to make it fire.
Yeah, like cutting into her fingers.
Yeah.
You can see the blood coming out of her trigger fingers right there from his thumb.
Yeah, he freaking pushes it in there, sets the gun off, and kills himself. You know, he's not holding the gun, but he kills himself. Of course, Daredevil and Natasha just stand there, and
Yeah,
they're like,
and
Jesus.
she is dramatically traumatized here. Uh, it doesn't help that her face is all covered in his blood now.
No, yeah, because she's right there. And he's, what's going on? Don't feel bad. And she's upset. The fireworks keep going off. It's sensory overload for them, and
Yeah,
they don't even pay attention at little Tommy, who is standing at the window and has the real gun, and he's like pretend shooting people outside the window. And that is the last panel, last page of the book.
yeah,
So you missed it was a real gun.
yeah. I missed it was a real gun. I just thought this was like another toy gun.
No, no. He had a toy gun. He had a toy rifle. But like I said, he gives him a real gun. And at the end of the book,
I think when I was clicking through the pages that I missed like two full pages, which would have taken me out of that whole
yeah,
loop thing. I do know that the helicopter that crashed, that from the wreckage from the end of the nuke story, that copter crashed and exploded on the roof of Hazard's mother's apartment building.
yeah,
So, that's not helping. His grandmother's still alive and taking care of Tommy, and then of course she's out shopping, expecting that Hazard is going to be there, and then it goes back to it goes back to nope, Tommy should be fine. I left him alone with a submachine pistol in the house. Anybody comes in, he knows what to do. He's a good soldier.
Damn it. That's terrible. Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't think about that. I kept thinking about him accidentally shooting people in the freaking street.
Yeah, right.
I We talk about adult comics all the time, sometimes, and this is one that, even though it has the Comics Code seal of authority on it, this is pretty freaking heavy. And it was just a random pull. The art, primarily for the art, because it was Barry Windsor Smith, and I didn't know he did one with Missini. And then they come out freaking swinging for a damn 80s masterpiece that you can buy for $10.
If not cheaper.
Yeah, you could probably even find one cheaper.
It's Barry Smith. The only reason this book is probably a little higher price wise is because everybody and their brother is still hunting down the original 25th anniversary covers.
Yeah, and I know we talked a little bit about that.
Like you with your Garfield and Care Bears. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
David, look, hey, there's something. The other one I look for sometimes, and I have to point them out to you if you've never seen them. You ever seen the Goes Wild covers? Marvel did a ton of covers, like middle to late 60s, early 70s, that all say so and so goes wild. There's Cap goes wild, Spidey goes wild, Thor goes wild, Daredevil goes wild. There's a bunch of them, and it just says goes wild on the cover. But
no, back then I would buy like a random ASM or or Peter Parker Spectacular. If there wasn't like a new Batman or Legion of Superheroes issue, or like all they had was like an old one that I already had, or I was like, yeah, that one doesn't look too good. I would grab that, and I was reading Hulk back then, but I wasn't buying it. I would, you know, we'd roll up our comics and put them in our back pockets, hop on our bikes, go down like 2 or 3 houses to my buddy's house, my buddy Mike's house, and Mike would buy the Hulk, and his younger brother at the time, who is now the middle, liked Hulk, and because the TV show was on and everything, so it was super popular. And following the demise of the TV show a few years past was the Hulk cartoon from the 90s. So,
and that's a great cartoon too.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, see, the first issue of Daredevil I ever remember really reading was like 210, maybe 206. So it was about 20 or 30 issues before this one. I mean, it depends. I might have to dig it up, but it is a Denny O'Neil, Dave Mazzucchelli issue, and it has got Daredevil on the cover fighting the freaking Vulture. Dude, it's awesome. I cannot believe you've never even seen it. Well, you give me that look. Damn.
I probably have, but I was expecting you to see, he's on the cover and he's fighting like 3,000 members of the Hand. It was like the Last Ronin before the Last Ronin, and then you say the Vulture. I'm like, oh. Tombs. I'm like, really? Some old guy that talks to birds. He's the Aquaman of the Marvel Universe.
Damn it. Good God. Steve, you're going to make me... Hold on.
Okay, go ahead. I'll wait before I pull up my screen that has what we're going to read next week. Oh, yeah, I had this.
I mean, dude, what? Look at how awesome that is.
Yeah, I had this. Yeah, this was good.
225, so it wasn't quite as far before as I can remember, but dude, it's awesome.
Yeah, 2.25. I remember Vulture issues where it was always snowing because they wanted to add. I remember a bunch of issues of the Vulture on. It was probably like PPSMs and maybe a couple like ASMs where Spider-Man is fighting the Vulture on the cover, or the Vulture's just on the cover. That's probably it, them fighting. So it was always a fighting scene.
Well, that's
this is like the most used pose of the Vulture in history, and but they studied goes, it's a little plain. There's like a million things going on, all the traffic, the cityscape, all the detailed background, and they're like, there's not enough on the cover. We can put snow. Okay.
Damn it.
Yeah, but I remember this because it wasn't until after Miller's first run on Daredevil that I actually discovered Daredevil, because I didn't know who he was. So I was like, I was doing stock at the shop, and it was only like in like a tiny front like office room.
Yeah.
Where he first rented out and everything. And I'm like, he goes, yeah, these are all set to go in there. Put them in order. Newest to oldest. I'm like, cool. He goes, Daredevil. Who's that? That's the guy in the book. I go, yeah, well, I know that. But I go, tell me about the character. I don't know who this guy is. He goes, he's Marvel's punching bag. He's kind of like a Batman character, and except that, instead of being a millionaire playboy in real life, he's a poor lawyer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that doesn't even jive. I've never met a poor lawyer.
He's not as poor as he's not poor by any means, because he does own a brownstone.
Mm-hmm.
His
Yeah.
freaking house is like $3 million or some crap.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous, but
Yeah, it's New York. Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's like, well, he was broke for New York standard of living,
yeah, yeah,
where you have to make like $5,000 a week, or you're going to be thrown out on your duff.
yeah.
So you picked
So
this
what did
one,
you find?
obviously, and because I've been mentioning
Obviously.
obviously, Barry Windsor Smith. Like I would pick a Barry Windsor Smith book, but no. Um, I also realized that I am missing a couple of issues of the Weapon X story from MCP.
Really? I think
But
I am too.
I also realized that the very first part of that is apparently worth a crap ton of money.
Really?
Like, yeah, it well, not a crap ton, but a crap ton for a Marvel Comics Presents. I think
Yeah.
it's like over $50 or something,
Damn.
because it's part one of Weapon X.
Weapon X.
Yeah, and it's Barry Windsor Smith doing Wolverine.
Do
And
you remember his what is it? You remember his when they asked him what he thought about when they asked Barry Smith, I can't remember what article it was in. I read it and I've always thought it was funny as crap. They asked him what they thought about Wolverine Origins when they were doing Wolverine's Origins, and he said Weapon X was fine.
Weapon X was fine. We didn't need
Yeah,
this shit.
yeah, he said, that's pretty much what he said.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna go and
Legion of Superheroes. Oh my God,
yeah.
it's gonna be Matter Eater Lad,
No. This
Saturn
is
Girl.
they're all in there. Shut up. This is a double sized issue.
Oh Lord.
There's so much of that, so much of you know that I could you know pick from. Somewhere I think it was like an issue of Superboy that actually the backup story was the first appearance of Matter Eater Lad that I have. It's not in the greatest condition, but I had it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I just remember the eagles on the cover with chunks of kryptonite tied around their talons, trying to kill Superboy. But here we go.
Giant size Superboy.
In the Legion of Superheroes versus the Fatal Five.
I have never read this.
Make no mistake, today the Fatal Five will kill a world. And Saturn Girl, Lightning Lad, Mon-El.
What the hell is Mon-El doing out of the negative zone? Or not negative, out of the Phantom Zone?
This is way before that.
Way before he gets shot?
Way before he gets shot, and way before it was like, well, there's lead everywhere in this universe, and it's been poisoning me slowly to death, and the only way to stop it is to go live in the negative zone. And then they would just the Phantom Zone, whatever. And then Negative Zone was Fantastic Four. They would he's like, holy crap, he knows something about Marvel.
Damn it.
This is Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes, issue 231. And if I'm reading this right, this is September 1970, maybe. It's got that weird code under the month. 30670.
Two number 21?
231.
231. I was looking it up.
And looky down here, it's a Mike Grell cover. Which means it's probably Mike Grell interiors too.
Grell's always good.
I love Grell.
So I'm bringing it up now. Superboy and Legion of Superheroes, Volume 1, 231. No, dude, it's 1977. June 21st, 1976. Yep. Executive editor was Orlando. Cover artist is Grell. Writers are Paul Levitz. Penciler was Jim Sherman. And inker was Jack Abel. Editor was Denny O'Neil.
Oh, yeah.
Synopsis is part 1 and part 2 of A Day in the Death of a World. Features characters are Superboy, Brainiac 5 is in it, Colossal Boy, Element Lad, Karate Kid. Damn it, what's Ralph Macchio doing in this book? Monel.
Wrong Karate Kid.
Princess Projectra. Who the hell is that? Saturn Girl, Shadow Lass, Sunboy, Ultra Boy. And the Fatal 5 are Tharok, the Persuader, Valdus, the Emerald Empress, and Mano.
Yep.
Okay. I have definitely never read this.
AOC unveils custom tax the rich Tesla.
Oh my God, really?
And Marjorie Taylor Greene showed up wearing a mask that says, "This mask is as useless as Joe Biden" on it.
Oh my God.
In Congress. It's like, yes.
Crazy people. But I will get it up to you and we'll get over and be back next Thursday. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, buddy.
And I will make sure. I know I have been promising to try and find some more DC Comics Presents or something. I think I found an issue.
Just issue? I'm sure you have like at least a half a box.
I've got most of the run. I have not finished it all.
I was surprised because, except for that one infamous one, this is the first appearance of the Teen Titans. It's an ad in the back. It's a preview. No, it counts.
Yeah. Actually, no, the one with Teen Titans in it is it's a full story. It's like 16 pages in between.
Is it
16? Yep. It's like
I used to have it. Like I had a good amount of that because I was like, it goes, DC Comics Presents. The art's not as good, but it's kind of like Brave and the Bold for Superman.
Yeah.
And so I was buying both Brave and the Bold, obviously, and DC Comics Presents because it was like, why would I just buy a book with just Batman when I can buy a book with Batman and some random guy? And that Brave and the Bold, there was an issue of Brave and the Bold where it was the first time that I ever saw Black Lightning.
Really?
And I'm like,
yeah, that's the one with that's the famous one with him with Black Lightning and Batman on the cover, and he's like, you can't do this or whatever it is. Batman's giving him hell.
Yeah, it's like, this cat's cool. And I was wondering for the until I got older, I go, why do they keep calling Black Vulcan Black Lightning? I don't get it. Because they wouldn't call they did Black Vulcan in the Super Friends cartoon. They didn't want to call him Black Lightning because they didn't want kids trying to play with electricity in the house to get superpowers. The same reason they took Johnny out of the Fantastic Four and replaced him with Herbie the Robot because they didn't want kids trying to set himself on fire. I go, look. That was the 70s. You didn't have that problem. Maybe one retarded kid might have done it. And by retarded, I don't mean actually mentally retarded. I mean, just fucking stupid.
Stupid kids.
You gotta let nature take its course and wipe out the stupid people.
Did you put the not safe for work thing up?
Yes, I did.
Is it too late yet?
No, I did that. I did this at the beginning of the show when we after we went live, we started talking. I go, I popped it. I go, hey, just in case.
Just in case.
And this is the just in fucking case. So
damn it. The thing about that though is you can't say that the art in DC Comics Present was terrible, because they're like, it's at the beginning of the run, and there's a few more later on, but like 10 of the issues of DC Comics Presents are all freaking Garcia Lopez.
Another one of your favorite DC guy, yes.
Oh my god, dude, he is so good. He's insane.
The ones I hated was when Keith Giffen got sloppier than John Romita Jr. And was just like, I don't want to do this book. You have to do it. And he was like, and it was done. And it's like, this is terrible. That's when he started. He was like, fuck it. I'm not even going to draw a face. And just shattered out everybody's face. You just saw like the outline of the forehead down, and like right about here, you would start to see the uniform come in. But he was doing like everybody like, blocky and hard lines and everything. And I'm like, I didn't like that. But then when he did that, but a much more refined version of that, after they brought Legion of Superheroes back after the Magic War, where they did the time skip and everything. And it was like, this is a detective book now. You have to figure out what the fuck happened. I'm like, oh. But that was when they stopped calling all the members by their code names, or were using their real names. And I go, ooh, this is cool. Now I have to remember real names.
I have to remember real names.
It was like the grown-up version of the Legion. And it was good. And then they were like, we don't think that people are taking to this one too much. We're gonna start a new one where the Legionnaires are all kids again, and we're gonna make up some stupid retcon story where some bad guy cloned them and they were locked in a vault for 50 years.
Well, I have it to read it, and I have never read it, but it is on my read list. Since you're such a dang fan, well, we need to go ahead and do. We have to break it up in 2 episodes or something, and do the damn Great Darkness
Saga.
Yeah, I'm like,
I almost picked the conclusion of that.
Really?
I think I've bought the conclusion of that a few times because it is the baddest ass cover with Darkseid on it.
Dude, I don't know now. Was it Justice League 184? I think it is 184. One where he's standing up. Darkseid's huge, and he's like got his hands like this, and the freaking all the JL members are falling out of his hands. That's badass. That 3-issue one, like 183 through 185, which is I can't remember who the writer was, but it doesn't matter because it's George Perez is the artist.
Yeah.
So who's writing it? I don't give a shit. George Perez is drawing it. It's okay. He can carry shitty writing by himself.
Here we go. Because I had to pull it up. The Great Darkness Saga. I've got the trade of it too.
Yeah, I've got the trade.
The trade reminded me a lot of that supervillain team up 17, where Doom is standing there and all the Marvel heroes are on their knees bowing to him.
Yeah.
Great Darkness it's a 5-issue arc.
Yeah.
Featuring it was written by Paul Levitz.
Oh, really?
One of the greatest Legion writers of all time.
Yeah, he wrote most of the Legion stuff, all the good stuff anyway.
Yeah, they actually brought him back during New 52 when they brought Legion back, and they ran like a couple of different Legion things. One was like 1 or 2 shorter stories in the book or whatever. Yeah. He was doing one of those. So it's Paul Levitz, art by Keith Giffen, not George Perez.
Yeah.
And Larry Mahishitat, published by DC Comics in 1982. See, the 80s were great.
Oh, dude, the 80s is probably the best time to read comics.
The first arc appears in Legion of Superheroes 290 to 294. It is notable for featuring appearances by virtually every living past and present Legionnaire as of 1982, as well as most of the team's 30th century allies, including Legion of Substitute Heroes, the Wanderers, Heroes of Lalore, and the 20th century Kryptonian refugee Dev M. The heroes battle an immensely powerful being shrouded in darkness, ultimately revealed to be the ancient ruler of Apocalypse, Darkseid. Come to the dark side, Legion of Superheroes. We have cookies. Co-founder Cosmic Boy leads a group of Legionnaires to investigate attacks on the Museum of Mystic Arts in the Tower of London. Why are they holding the Mystic Arts in the Tower of London? They couldn't keep the crown jewels safe. Come on. Both located on Earth. Included in the squad is 20th century member Superboy, the legendary Superman as a teenager, and the latest addition to the team, Jacques Fracot, Invisible Kid 2.0. That was because the first Invisible Kid got killed, and then they brought later on they brought Jacques Fracot in, who was apparently French and black, and had skunk hair. He had skunk hair. He had that big white stripe going through.
Damn it.
He was a cool character, though. I liked him. At each site, they are attacked by beings of great power, both whom are shrouded in darkness, and mention that they are servants to their master who controls the great darkness. And yeah, I will stop there because that's just an entire write-up on everything that happens. So
yeah, like I said, it's on my to read list. I'm trying to get around to everything.
Yeah, it's tough to do that when you actually have to get up at 4 a.m. every day and go to work.
Yeah, I got up at 4:30.
Man, I don't have to get up at all. Well, tomorrow I have to get up. I have to go back to the hospital for a follow-up on my infection, but most days, I really don't have to get up. So, I do when I don't. I got to get up and I got to eat and, go back to bed. But, that's all that. So next week, we're going to dive into some Legion of Superheroes versus the Fatal Five. At some point, we will tackle the Great Darkness saga. Maybe we can do that over one of the holidays because we're fast approaching that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Maybe we can do. We'll take like a week off. We'll take the week off like before Halloween, or whatever Thursday falls closest to Halloween. We'll take like the week before off.
Yeah.
To give ourselves extra time to
read it.
Read it because it's it's 5 issues long. It
should be 110 pages.
110, 120 pages, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But until next week, this is Will.
And this was Thomas.
And we're wishing you peace, love, and read some comics.
Read some comics.